Hello everybody out there watching on YouTube, and welcome back to race number 24 of Season 3 NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I'm Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Caesars Palace 400 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We're getting set for 41 laps of racing here at this gambling mile-and-a-half racetrack, and let's, before we get to the race, we're going to take a look at the point standings coming into the race today, because we're getting closer and closer to the chase, people. And right now we have a tie for the points lead between James Qualls and Dylan Jacobs. Then third is Charles Sanford, fourth David Rivera, fifth is Joshua Sekuli, sixth Matt McIntyre, seventh Mark Lane, eighth Austin LaPlante, ninth Johnny Gardner, 10th Benjamin Miles. Currently the wildcard drivers are still Rafael LeDuc and Chris Dollarton with 2 wins apiece. But let's look at the lineup. Starting in the last row is Phil Parker, Charles Sanford in the top 10. We have a Hendrick Motorsports front row with Jonathan Zorlian on the pole with Matt McIntyre right next to him. Row 2 is Dylan Poteet, Seth Cole. Row 4, Dylan Young, Jessica Shelton. Row 3. Then row 4 is Tim Fiegel and Zachary Fitzwater. And then row 5, we have a Furniture Row Racing row 5, Matt Haas and James Shelley. With that said, let's get the command to fire engines here in Vegas.
Drivers, start your engines!
Cars rolling out for their one pace lap around here at Vegas. Last time we was here at Vegas, I believe it was, I can't quite remember when we were here last time. I know we ran here earlier in the season, and we had a pretty good race here. Hopefully we can repeat here this time around, as after this race we have 2 races left until the chase for the championship. Next week we go to Homestead, Miami for the Ford 400. But then the week after that will be the Southern 500 at Darlington. And that's going to be the cutoff race before the chase for the championship. So today and the next 2 weeks are going to be do or die for a lot of drivers to get final opportunities to either get in the top 10 in points or get a wild card spot in the chase, as the pace car just pulled into pit road. And we all know what time it is. It is time to boogity, 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 go racing. Well, Dylan Poteet led lap number 1, but a battle for the lead between Dylan Young and Tim Fiegel. Tim Fiegel has been trying to get himself into the top 30 in points. He, I believe, is less than 20 points behind Chris Michaels to get into the top 30 in the standings, so that way he can get himself locked in to future races without having to do go or go home qualifying. Fiegel led that lap, but here comes Austin LaPlante, who is trying to keep himself afloat in the top 10 so he can try and make the chase that way. And then here comes one of the 2 points leaders, James Qualls. If he and Dylan Jacobs come out with good finishes here today, they'll be the first two to be officially locked into the chase via points. Because still there's possibilities of a lot of different things that can happen that could force the 70 to be done. Then again, he and the 78 are both 108 points ahead of 11th in points. So I got a feeling that no matter where they finish, as long as they're inside the top 20, they will be locked into the chase via points. LaPlante has the lead, and look at Chris Michaels. Earlier we was talking a little bit about him trying to stay in the top 30 in points. He's looking to try to go for a win and then try to get another win so that way he can get a wild card spot potentially. At the same time, there's still so many other drivers looking for that opportunity to get a win or get in the top 10 in points or try and get the wild card. Let's actually take a look now that we've gotten through a little bit of the race. Let's see where the wild card drivers currently run. Start off with the first one, Rafael Leduc. Last time scored in 16th, and funny enough, Chris Dollarton right behind him. Both of these guys trying to just survive and hope that nobody else ahead of them in points that has a win that's outside the top 10 in the points gets another win, so that way they can keep the wild card spots to themselves. Near contact, almost 4 wide, Rafael Leduc and Jake Baskinger, DJ Curtis, Benjamin Miles, but they keep it together, and there was almost a wreck right there. That could have been bad. But anyways, James Qualls finds himself up here and now to the second position, as LaPlante has been kind of pulling away from the field a little bit because everyone behind him has been really dicey in terms of how they're racing right now. Man, look at everybody just driving very, very well, giving each other room, and also racing really clean. This is what I like to see from Las Vegas, because years ago when this channel first started doing NR, Las Vegas was known to be the biggest wreck fest in the history of wreck fests on this channel. But now I figured out the problem, and we're getting great racing right now, and battle could be brewing for second. Jonathan Zorline, who started on the pole, didn't get to lead a lap. He's now trying to get up there so he can get a bonus point. He moves to second, and here comes Jake Baskinger in the 18. Running a brand new paint scheme, the Switch car, which looks really good. Really, really good. And he's trying to get his first top 5 of the season. And look at the two wildcard drivers. It's like Dollarton and Leduc have been working together almost just to try and make sure nobody else, like I said, that's in their range in the points, trying to keep them from winning a race or two so they can keep their wild card spots. But look at Dorian Facepuncher. He's going to come underneath his teammate Dollarton and Leduc. That's going to be a battle for third that's going on right now, as Facepuncher's got the run on the inside. Dead even at the line, but it was the 62 by an inch. And look at the 24, Matt McIntyre, who's trying to keep himself afloat in the top 10 in the points. And look at Dylan Jacobs. Right now, he would be the current points leader since he's a few spots ahead of James Qualls. But back up here at the front, LaPlante has just been the dominant car since he got up to the front. But he has Baskinger right on his bumper. It's almost like maybe these two have a strategy a little bit. Work together in like a draft in hopes of trying to pull away from everyone. Or the 18 just could be playing mind games with the 48 and he's going to try and go for a move here momentarily. Margin's been the same. Let's actually look at lap times. Baskinger's been just 1,000th of a second faster than the 48, but they've been working well together. But the 24 of Matt McIntyre's broken away, and now he's starting to reel in the top 2. I thought I saw the yellow flag come out, but I guess I was just seeing stuff. But anyways, Matt McIntyre, like I said, he comes into this race 6th in the standings, and he's 20 points ahead of 11th, so he's not quite out of the woods yet. He's gotta have to hope to finish very strong through the rest of the regular season before the chase. But now the top 3 have formed a bit of a draft, but now the party's going to get broken up finally, as here comes the 24 of Matt McIntyre, but he kind of lost it a little bit in the middle of the corner, and the 18 continues to go on by, and here comes the 14 of DJ Curtis. DJ Curtis, who's 20th in the standings, he's looking to try and get a win. Oh, but they're pitting. Oh, but I hear a crash. I heard a crash. And there are some cars, Joshua Collard, Zach Flickinger, looks like they were in it. Seth Cole, looks like he got involved. Charles Sanford, one of the top 5 in the standings, got involved. It's almost like as if there was contact made for drivers when they were trying to get on pit road. Huge damage for the 11 of Dylan Thoreau. And I think, I thought I saw damage on Emmanuel Hardnett. Maybe some damage to the 51 of James McLeod. That, or it could just be a glitch. I think it is a glitch for the most part. But everybody's coming in the pit road. So now, because of this caution coming out, who knows what the field's going to look like. So while we wait for the field to get sorted out, let's go ahead and take a look at the replay of what brought the caution out for the first time today here at Las Vegas. Well, here's a look at what happened. So it was 3 wide going completely wrong. But then again, everybody was starting to scramble when they saw drivers come into pit road. But right there, contact between Dougie Shears and Mark Lane sends Mark Lane up into his teammate Zach Flickinger, who goes head on into the outside wall. And then there you see Joshua Collard get involved, and then he turns down into Johnny Gardner, and wow, the big hit from the 03 of Sanford into the 43, nearly flipped over the 43. As I'm trying to get to Seth Cole and see how he got involved. Oh, it was after the fact when everyone started slowing down. Yeah, right there, contact from Emmanuel Hardnett sent him around, and then right there's the hit from Dylan Thoreau, and that's how the 11 got involved. So a big scattered multi-car wreck caused by a combination of cars getting scrambled because some cars decided to slow down to come into pit road, and 3 wide going wrong. But let's go ahead and take you to the restart here at Vegas. Well, after all that chaos, only 1 car right now is officially done for today, and that's Dylan Thoreau. We got 1 car a lap down, Dylan Poteet somewhere in the field. But anyways, Austin LaPlante is still your race leader. 2nd is Jake Baskinger. 3rd is Benjamin Miles. 4th is Chris Dollarton. 5th, Jessica Shelton. 6th is DJ Curtis. 7th, Sean Galligan. 8th, Dylan Jacobs. 9th, David Rivera. 10th, Matt McIntyre. 11th is Carson Gum. 12th is Paul Minnick. 13th, Dorian Facepuncher. 14th, Jonathan Zorline. 15th, James Shelley. 16th is Tim Fiegel. 17th, Phil Parker. 18th is Tim Walsh. 19th, Rafael Leduc. 20th, Anthony McCrory. 21st is Charles Sanford. 22nd, Trent Dunham. 23rd, Peachy London. 24th, Preston Plore. 25th, Johnny Gardner. 26th is JT Bryant. 27th is Dougie Shears. 28th, Matt Haas. 29th, Seth Cole. 30th, Dylan Young. 31st is James Qualls. 32nd is Joshua Sekuli. 33rd is Emmanuel Hartnett. 34th, James McLeod. 35th is Chris Michaels, and then the rest of the field is Zachary Fitzwater, Jake Rogers, Joshua Collard, Mark Lane, and Zach Flickinger with Dylan Poteet a lap down. Green flag back out, and we are at the halfway point. We've got 21 to go here at Vegas. Which is kind of ironic considering 21, the lucky number in blackjack. But Poteet actually seems to be up to speed, and he goes by to get his lap back for now, and now Benjamin Miles is going to go on by for the race lead. 20 to go here in Vegas, and Benjamin Miles currently has the lead, and he's starting to pull away from everyone. And that's because they're fighting behind him. Sean Galligan goes to second. Benjamin Miles, he comes into this race 10th in the standings. He was 1 point to the good coming into the race over Dylan Young. Right now, he'd be more than good right now as far as the points go. And now Galligan and Curtis find themselves up here. Benjamin Miles trying to hold off everyone, but here comes the 14. It's going to be 3 wide, add in the lap car of Dylan Poteet. So far they're making it work, and look at Jonathan Zorling. Look at a bunch of guys who restarted in the outside of the top 10 have found themselves up here. And it looked like Zach Flickinger just came off pit road to obviously try and repair damage. Couple guys going to take big hits in the points after getting involved in that wreck, and the one in particular is Mark Lane because he came into the race in the top 10 in points. Who knows if he's going to even be able to stay up there or not. And Zorling finally gets to lead a lap and get that bonus point he was won early on. Excuse me. Anyways, Paul Minnick now up here to the lead, and Paul Minnick comes into the race 12th in the points. He fell out of the top 10 after last week at Michigan. Came in only 2 points behind the top 10. Right now, he could get himself back up here. But here comes one of the co-point leaders, Dylan Jacobs. He's up here in the top 5. If he were to come through with a good finish, or hell, even with a win, he'll be the first official locked-in driver in the chase via points and wins. But right behind him, Jessica Sheldon, who's hungry to get her second win of the season so she can find herself in the hunt for the wild card spot as well. And here she comes, 3 wide underneath the 78 and the 88. But Paul Minnick still hanging on strong in that top spot. As look at this great action up here at the front of the field. Phil Parker, I believe, started in the last row in the starting lineup, and now he's up here in the top 5. Goes to show you, it's not about where you start, it's about where you finish at certain mile-and-a-half racetracks, particularly here in Kansas and Arizona. Those are probably, in my mind, the 3 best mile-and-a-half tracks we go to in the schedule. 3 wide for second, and speaking of Phil Parker, here he comes. This is going to be the highest he's been all day long, up here to the second position. But here comes Austin LaPlante, who led a lot early on in the first half of the race. Now he's going to try and get up there, and here comes David Rivera, who's right on his tail. David Rivera, who fell from 3rd to 4th after last week at Michigan, came into the race about 75 or more points to the good of 11th in points. So if he can come through with a good finish, he'll have a bigger cushion. Oh, but they're catching slow traffic. The 41 and the 43. This may end badly if they're not careful, but that did help to bring the 48 up here to the side of the 9. And now Minnick's going to end up losing the lead, all because of lap traffic. And now LaPlante's back up here to the lead. David Rivera right behind him. And how about Johnny Gardner? He was involved. Oh, and they caught Zach Flickinger too. But I was going to say, how about Johnny Gardner? Oh, he's leaning on the 83, but they keep it together. But yeah, Johnny Gardner, who was involved in that wreck, he's up here in the top 10 right now. Battle on for the lead. Dougie Shears with a run. And look at Rafael LeDuc. He's trying to go for win number 3 so he can get a guaranteed wild card spot, or even get in the top 10 in points and carry over bonus points towards the chase. Right now he's 1 spot away from that. He's right on the back bumper of the 83. And look at Dylan Poteet, who is a lap down. He's keeping up with everyone. He is desperately trying to get that lap back. But now as a result, the field has gotten separated quite a good bit because of the lap traffic. And man, you got to feel for David Rivera. He was up in second just 3 laps ago, and now he finds himself in the back of the field as a result. But also a big question is going to be about if whether or not these guys can make it on gas the rest of the way, or if they're going to have to pit one more time before the race is over. Dougie Shears right now hanging on strong over LaPlante and LeDuc. And LaPlante's about to get passed by the lap car of Dylan Poteet, so that's going to cause the 48 to lose some time to the top two. It sounds like the 03 of Charles Sanford is coming into pit road. I don't know if this is a sign that everyone else is going to come in, or if he's just coming in to repair damage. Oh, maybe not. LeDuc's going to sacrifice second to come into pit road. Carson Gum, late entry, but he made it in past the commitment cone. Otherwise, that could have been very, very disastrous. I hear scraping. Oh, it was some cars getting into each other on pit road. That's typical for most racetracks. I just thought there was some wrecking going on. But yeah, good majority of the field came in, and now here comes Dougie Shears among others. Chris Michael's going to stay out. Gets a bonus point for leading a lap. And I think... No, Tim Walsh is still out there, so only Walsh and Michaels have yet to come into pit road. But now here comes the 17 in the pit road. Now what about the 15 of Tim Walsh? Is he going to come in? Indeed he is. So now everybody will have made their pit stops for the final time here today. Mark Lane goes in. And right now it's going to be hard to really tell who's going to be the race leader. There's Shears. And I saw Matt McIntyre ahead of Rafael LeDuc, so we could have Matt McIntyre be the race leader. We just got to wait and see everything gets cycled around properly. I don't know. I think Shears is going to keep the spot. And I think he is going to keep it. So at the line, let's see. Doesn't quite have the spot, but he is going to get it here in just a couple moments. Over the 17 of Chris Michaels. And in fact, yep, we got the leader back. Dougie Shears is going to be your race leader for now. But you got to wonder if everyone behind him is going to catch him in time. The 24 to 48. The 87 and 99 got held up a little bit by the 17 because he wasn't completely up to speed. But the 83 has the lead, but Matt McIntyre's got a full head of steam. Look at him. He is closing that gap big time, and he's going to go to the bottom. He feels it's go time. Teammate LaPlante right behind as well. Could we see a Hendrick 1-2 here at Vegas? Jake Rogers finds himself up here in the top 5 along with LeDuc. You got to wonder if they're going to have something for the leaders. But they are running out of time, and they got less than 3 laps to go to try and make something work. And they may have a chance because the leaders have caught Charles Sanford, and he's slowing off the pace. And that does bring the 83 and the 99, the 9, all up here into the mix. But the caution is out. Race at the line, and looked like LaPlante got it. Caution comes out. Oh, and it's for an accident between Joshua Collard, Pichu London. Man, and Tim Fiegel was involved. Man, I was hoping we would see a biblical finish, but man, Tim Walsh was involved as well. His engine is done. But yeah, it looks like Austin LaPlante is going to get the win. And that would be his first win of the season. Came into the race 8th in points, only 9 points to the good of the top 10. He's going to get a big big push ahead, but we're going to go ahead and take a look and see real quick what brought the caution out for the second and final time as we take the white flag here at Vegas. Well, here's a look at what happened. So Zach Flickinger tries to let the 98 go on the bottom, but he didn't see Dorian Facepuncher on the outside and gets them both into the wall, and then they come down and collect Phil Parker and Pichu London. But watch as Pichu London starts to slide back up the racetrack. Same with the 62 and the 12. Watch as the 21 slides down. He's going to get hit by quite a few cars here in just a moment as we are awaiting for them to show up. There's Tim Walsh. There's Tim Fiegel. James Qualls actually was involved too. I didn't see the 70 involved in this either. And then the 43, I think he's going to get the 21 because I think the 21 slides back down. Indeed he does, and that was a pretty brutal hit right there, and then hits Qualls. So a big multi-car crash as we see at the line here. As they caught the 03 of Sanford, LaPlante managed to get himself ahead, so let's take you to the checkered flag here at Vegas. Well, right now, Tim Walsh retires out of the race after that crash, but we are coming to the checkered flag for the end of this race, a great race here at Vegas. Checkered flag is waving in the flag stand, and Austin LaPlante officially wins the Caesars Palace 400 at Las Vegas Motor Speedway in what was an excellent race. With a dramatic finish, despite it not finishing under green, it was still great nonetheless. But congrats to Austin LaPlante. He is definitely looking to finish his Marvel Studios Cup Series career with a bang. Picks up his first win of the season and gets a big gap ahead of 11th in points so he can have a cushion to try and stay in the top 10 in points. But let's look at the rest of the results. Dougie Shears comes through with a great run in second. Solid third place finish for Matt McIntyre. That's going to be helpful for him to get in to stay in the top 10 in points. Rafael Leduc, phenomenal fourth place run. That could help him gain points to get into the top 10 himself. And then Jake Rogers, highest finishing rookie in the fifth position. Paul Minnick comes through with a sixth place finish. Carson Gum, who we never talked about all day, comes through finishing a great job in seventh. James McLeod finishing out in eighth. Chris Michaels with a solid top 10 run in ninth. And Johnny Gardner rounds out the top 10. Rest of the top 20 was Dylan Young, Anthony McCurry, James Shelley, Chris Dollerton, Preston Plord, DJ Curtis, Jake Baskinger, JT Bryant, Matt Haas, and Dylan Jacobs is going to be your first official locked-in driver in the chase. Rest of the top 30, Jessica Sheldon, Sean Galligan, Emmanuel Hartnett, Benjamin Miles, David Rivera, Seth Cole, Zachary Fitzwater, Trent Dunham, Jonathan Zorlin, Dorian Facepuncher. Everyone else that finished on the lead lap were Phil Parker, James Qualls, and Charles Sanford. Everyone else that did finish were a lap or two down. Dylan Pote, Joshua Sekuli, Mark Lane, Zach Flickinger, and everyone else was out, and they were Tim Fiegel, Pichu London, Tim Walsh, Joshua Collard, and Dylan Thoreau. But that does it for our coverage here today at Las Vegas. Next week we go to Homestead, Miami for the Ford 400. We have 2 races left until the chase for the championship. But until then, here are your results, rookie points and regular points heading into Homestead. And this is Levi McIntyre signing off.